Episode 57.
Yeah, welcome back.
Welcome back. Yep. If anybody knows, I was gone for a whole week, if you noticed that. Down
Yeah,
in
when I saw
Florida.
the empty seat when I did my 56 was not good. So,
Yeah.
so away, and how was it? Good?
Yeah, beautiful. Weather was gorgeous. And gas was like 249,
Oh, my God.
255, 252 down in Florida.
Wow.
So I was in Daytona and in Stewart, Florida.
Is that because they're close to the Gulf or something?
I guess so.
They don't have to deliver it as
They're
far.
close to Venezuela. I did. You know what I did? We were on the beach in Daytona. I saw two barges, and I said, "Oh, look, they're Venezuela barges."
No, only if there's helicopters over them,
Right.
taking them over. So we're back. I'm glad he's back. We got a long show for you tonight. There's been a lot going on because I didn't really cover much last week. So what we're going to talk about tonight, of course, we got to talk about the ICE shooting in Minneapolis here. But I don't want, for me, I don't want it to be, we're going to decide, what's good, what's bad, or what happened. I just want to give you the story and you guys decide. I know there's a lot of film out there. This has been going on for a week now. And, I just want to give you some of our opinions. We're going to talk about the removal of Maduro from Venezuela. There's a lot of mixed views on that. And there was a UN emergency meeting that I want to talk about. And then Iran protests.
Yeah,
Not
that,
good.
That doesn't look too good. It looks like that country's ready to.
They're killing hundreds of protesters.
Yeah, I heard
We get one.
today. I heard could be up to 12,000
Really?
or 1,200.
1,200.
1,200.
probably. And then we have a new segment I introduced last week called Yesterday's Headlines. And we'll talk a little bit about that. That's just something that Trump did recently. He withdrew a lot of agencies from the UN, so that's kind of iffy. So we want to talk about that. That's really not news, so that's why we're doing it, and we call it Yesterday's News because it's really not forefront right now. So, all right. So the first thing we got, right? Jonathan Ross. I'm sorry, he was the
ICE
agent.
ICE agent. Yeah.
Renee Nicole Good was a U.S. citizen
Right.
and
Mother of three.
mother of three. I heard I don't know how true it is that she
What?
lost two of them. Two of them were taken away from her.
Oh, that I don't know.
Good.
That I'm not sure.
There's all kinds of stuff floating around. There was one that because her wife was convicted of something like domestic, I don't know exactly what it was, that she lost two of the kids, custody of two of the kids. She still had three kids, no matter how you look at it. But I want to read something to you, if I could find it real quick, but we'll continue going here. So she had a maroon Honda Pilot, right?
Right.
And for an hour, she was blocking streets and, impeding these guys and doing all this. And it's a real shame, but they said to her, "Stop, get out of the car," because now it's a point where you're going to get arrested.
Sure. You're blocking the proceedings of what they were doing. The ICE officers, the law enforcement officers, were doing. They were arresting people, but this lady was in the way, and they told her to move. They told her to get out of the car, and she wouldn't listen. And why would you want to put yourself in that position? I don't get it. She's got three kids,
Mm-hmm.
and she wants to put herself in the position and disobey the law. If you're driving down the road
Right.
and an ambulance is behind you,
Right.
you
right.
stop and block the ambulance, you move over. Or if it's a cop, you move over and you let the cop go because they're doing something.
Yeah.
They're upholding the law. So why, everybody's, I'm sorry. I think it's horrible. Terrible that she got killed, but I just think, what are you doing there? Why would you even want to do this? I just don't, I don't get it. You disobeyed the law. They asked you to get out of the car.
Right.
They asked you to move your car, and you didn't do any of that other than taunting them back
Right.
and forth.
And her wife, whatever, was doing the same thing.
Right.
Oh, big guy, you don't want to come get me, that kind of thing. And they were taunting him. And how much patience these guys have before they just
Well,
lose it.
this has been going on, coming up on a year. I don't want to say it was her fault being there, but you want to protest, that's fine. Protest on the side of the road. If a police officer
Right. You
or
can't block.
a police officer tells you to get out of the car or to move your vehicle because they're doing I don't know what you want to call it, a raid or whatever they're
Operation,
doing,
any kind of
operation, whatever they're
right.
doing,
Right.
and she's disobeying them. I mean, I don't get it. You know, um, I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you, this sounds weird, but if we go all the way back, this is Biden's fault if you think about it.
Absolutely. He let 15 million people come into this country.
Now, Obama even didn't let that happen.
No,
Right?
he didn't.
300,000 were
In fact,
deported.
Obama exported more people than Trump did
Yeah, so far, yeah.
so far.
Yeah.
But nobody says anything about that. But see, Obama did it right. When they came over the border, Obama told the border, the patrol agents and everything, turn around and send them back right away.
Yes.
Biden didn't do that. Biden just let them come in and let them roam around the country, go to any city they wanted to do whatever they wanted to do. And then Trump's in, and he's trying to clean this mess up.
But the bottom line is, and again, Biden let these people in. Part of the reason was for votes, right?
Right.
And we talk about this way back where.
Right.
And the people fighting ICE, I think, are kind of the same thing. I think what's going on is they're trying to keep these people in to get the Dems back in charge.
Yeah.
It's a far-fetched kind of thought.
Right. Right.
But what else could be happening here? Why do you want these people in your neighborhood unless there's an ulterior
motive.
ulterior motive? Yeah, that's it. Of some kind that
Arterial monochromia.
that you want these people to stay here for what?
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
some of them are really bad hombres.
But what you said before, it's really, if you look at this whole thing, it's Biden's fault for letting all these people come in. If he didn't let all these people come in, you wouldn't have these ICE raids going on around the country. You wouldn't have it. And this woman, turns out she was with an organization.
Yes, as a matter of fact, yes, called Ice Watch.
Well, it's also called the Minnesota Immigrant Rights and Action Committee. And it has it right here
Okay.
that they hire these people. And, they give them signs and they go out there.
Yeah,
and
you look at some of the signs; they're not crayon on cardboard.
No, I mean, it's.
Yeah.
Know.
No. I know. So.
And these states.
And she's. Go ahead.
Well, these states. I mean, there's 8 states that are going against the law. The federal law is the one that takes over.
Right.
One that supersedes everything. But there's 8 states that are not obeying the law. California, Colorado, Oregon, Minnesota, Washington State, Massachusetts, Illinois, and New Jersey.
Yeah.
They're not following
Jersey,
they're not following and almost New York and Vermont's in there. But they're not following the law. They're disobeying the law. Now, this happened once before in our country.
Mm-hmm.
And that was before the Civil War.
Yeah. Yeah.
The southern states weren't listening to the president. At that time, Andrew Jackson, I think, was president, or whoever was president. They weren't. They were saying, no, we're not going to listen to you about slaves and also tariffs that they were getting from England. They were being sent over to South Carolina.
Right,
and they said, no, we're not going to listen to the president. We're going to do our own thing. That's basically what started the Civil War.
Wow.
I mean, that's part of it. That's
Right.
part besides the slave issue. And then another time that this kind of happened, it's real not too much like this, but it was during the 60s against the Vietnam War. I mean, you had
Right. But
you had the Ohio State thing with four dead in Ohio.
The song.
Crosby, Stills, Nash, and wrote, and these states are going against the law. They're not obeying the law, and we have that right now. And if it gets any worse, and I do have to say, as an ICE agent or a police officer, you've got to try to not let the situation escalate like it did.
Yes.
I also blame them. They should be a little bit more tolerant of some kind or whatever. I mean, when she rammed the car and she hit him, instead of firing, they probably should have just had the plate, track her down later.
That's
to arrest
I heard that too. Right, you want to de-escalate it.
you want to de-escalate it, and I don't know.
I don't know if it was, honestly,
Yeah.
So this is what I'm sorry I took so long to find this, but I got to read this to you. This was I don't know who to give credit to because this was written by somebody else, and this was written by a mother, by the way. All right, just to give you some insight here of what was going on in her mind that she had to do all this stuff in the middle of the day with no job, kids at school. What are you thinking? What do you think's going to happen? It's a little long, but bear with me. I'm a mother, so I'm going to comment right now. I will say this exactly the way a mother thinks, raw, direct, and without pretending this is complicated. A 37-year-old woman, 3 kids, middle of a work week. The father of those children is dead, by the way. I guess her
He is? I didn't know that.
I didn't know either. She's the only parent left. The one job she has above everything else, every protest, every headline, is getting home to her kids. And what is she doing instead? Right. She's out of state. Others claim she lives there. In the street, in her car, blocking federal agents who are doing their job. Not alone. Her partner is right there filming her like this is some kind of brave little documentary moment. Yeah. I love this. Around them, sirens are blaring, people are yelling, pure chaos, manufactured chaos. So agents can't do their lawful duty in removing these people. Her window's down. She hears the orders. She understands the orders. She ignores the orders. Then she puts the car in reverse, still doesn't comply, and then she puts it in drive, not park, and she moves forward toward the agent. That's not confusion, and that's not panic. Right. That decision, after decision after decision. Now, put yourself in the agent's shoes for a half a second. A driver is already unlawful act, refusing commands in a hostile, chaotic scene, and now that driver uses the vehicle to move towards you. You get a split second to decide what to do. You don't get the luxury of, well, maybe she's just stressed. You have to assume the worst. You have to think of protecting other people like the partner at the window because you assume the best and you're wrong. You don't go home and somebody else may not go home also. So the agent fires after she makes an intentional and aggressive move toward him because he has no idea what her intentions are and she just demonstrated she's willing to escalate. Now, imagine her 3 kids at school, sitting there like any other day, not knowing their mother is out playing street hero games for criminals in the middle of a work week with those 2 adults responsible for them. She didn't think about them. She didn't think, if I get arrested, who picks up my kids? Right. She didn't think, if I get hurt, who raises them? Right. She didn't think, if I die, they have nobody. She thought about protecting criminals. This is what we talk about all the time. She thought about interfering with federal agents. She thought about the camera. She thought about the crowd. And she thought about the moment. There is no amount of evidence, money, tears on TV, or news spin that can make this make any sense. As a mother, nothing about this makes sense. Incredible.
Doesn't show who that was from.
No, in fact, there was a third post that said, this came from a mother. But there you go.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
Forgetting who's right or wrong.
Was this worth it?
Think about her.
Do you really think it was worth it to go there and do this? I don't know.
At the very least, she had to think that she may be arrested.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is her 3 kids are still in school.
Right. And when they get home, there's not going to be a mom there.
There's not going to be no mom now.
Right.
How terrible is that? She just, and going against these ICE people, and I got to tell you too, I did a little research here too. ICE makes arrests all day long, hundreds of them, right, with no issue. They knock on the door, they take them out, they arrest them, they stop them in a car, they take them out, arrest them.
Right.
The protesters, the Dems, are making the issues. Right. They're flooding the streets trying to stop their job, and this is what escalates it.
Yes.
The ICE agents, they're not escalating this. The protesters are escalating this.
Right.
And it's not stopping.
Yeah.
And I also found out, too, regardless of what all these protesters do, and now we have a death, they have not stopped doing what they're doing.
I know.
They have not blocked them or stopped them from doing what they're doing. They're still continuing to do their job
Right.
and arrest people that don't belong here.
Right.
So all this protesting and all this screaming and banging drums
and somebody killed.
and somebody killed now.
Right.
For what?
Right.
They're still going to do their job.
Yep.
Trump's not going to say, "Oh, okay." You know.
Right.
But we'll bring him in now because you said we shouldn't do it.
Right.
But again, like you said, in the beginning we talked about it. It's Biden's fault. He wanted these people in here for voting.
Yep.
We have to get him out, and that's what he's doing.
Yep.
Bill and I both agree. We don't agree with everything that Trump does, but I got to tell you, he's removing these people. The border crossings are almost zero.
Well, he did campaign on that. 77 million people voted for him.
Yeah, that's right.
So, but if you look at the other end, 75 voted for Kamala.
Right.
And they're pissed off because of what they see.
Well, that's the hard part.
That is.
That 75,000 million people, almost half the country voted for,
Right.
Her. And I don't know where we would be because we can't predict the future or know what would have happened if she got in. But what would happen if she got in?
Well,
Continuing stuff would come in.
Yeah.
Look, and we're going to get into, well, we're not going to really get into the fraud in Minnesota now because we did that last week.
Yeah. But the fraud would never be. There'd still be going on.
That's the thing. They found out about this in 2020.
Right.
And they just let it go. And it just, now it's over 10 billion, something ridiculous. I think when we talked about it was $1 billion.
Oh. And they're finding out other states. I know Maine and California are under investigation.
Yeah, and Ohio was another one. There was a girl, a lady on TikTok said, "Please come to Ohio," talking to that kid.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, J.D. Vance, he was the governor for a little while.
There you go.
If that's been going on for a long time, so I don't know.
You don't know.
It's a terrible thing. It really is. And if she's hired by this company, Minnesota Immigrants' Rights and Action Committee, I mean, I'm on their website right now. You should see all the signs. This is what we believe in.
Yep.
Know your rights, this, that, and the other thing. Grassroots, multiracial, multinational immigrants' rights mass movement organization. I don't know.
That is the problem, is these organizations that gather these people and they believe it. I mean, there's really some strange, I don't know. I think the mental health in this country needs a little help. I mean, it's hard. There's so much going on, and there's so many antagonistic people out there, even the news.
I know.
Now,
the news, don't even, I mean, listen, it's nuts.
Here's the thing. I think it was on CNN. I don't know where it was, so I'm not going to quote anybody, but they were how can you say that she was a terrorist and that the ICE agent was justified in shooting? How can you say that without all the evidence being gathered? In the meantime, 2 hours after it happened, you got AOC going, he's a murderer.
Right.
So it always seems to be like a one-way street. Yeah. You're calling the guy a murderer. There's no evidence in yet.
I know that there was noise about maybe trying to arrest him and bring him to jail and this, that. That's not gonna work. It's not. He's in the right. He's a law enforcement officer that told her what to do, and she didn't obey. And
look, and I got a video here. I think I put it here.
Mike, do you have that video? We have a new guy, Mike.
Yeah, Mike is going to help us. What I did was I made a video and I put all three, and I have a 1/3 speed of the one front.
Right? Yeah.
Wow.
Mike, did you find that, Mike?
I got it. Hold on.
Nailed.
Yeah. Here it is.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking sniper. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the car.
So you mentioned these groups, right? This is an action list for these groups.
Right.
All right. Now listen to this. I keep banging the mic. Sorry, guys. So direct action. Understanding there will be legal risks. That's the first thing it says on top of this paper. This is what they get. This is the flyer. When you join these organizations, understand there's legal risk. Direct action. What to do when you're about to witness a kidnapping.
In public.
A kidnapping. They're not kidnapping. They're arresting people. This is not, and they say it all the time on the other side. They're kidnapping American citizens. That's not what's happening. So, when you witness a kidnapping, when you witness an arrest, call community and ask for help. By the way, it says ask. AKS is how they spelled it. Did you see that?
EKS.
Ask.
Is that from Minnesota?
Yeah, I don't know.
The Learning Center?
The Leaning Center.
Leaning Center.
Yeah. Break the bystander's effect. Let the victim in your car. Now, I'm driving down the street and I got my grandson in the back seat and I'm going to save some criminal immigrant from ICE. Come on in. Come on. Take my car, take my kid.
Right.
Ask questions. Waste time. Calmly. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Ask a nearby business to let them
In a lockable room or office.
Believe that? To hide them and lock them away. Block the kidnapping cars with multiple cars. This is what happened with her. They're blocking their cars. Call surrounding businesses and alert street vendors. Okay, so what's a hot dog guy going to do on the street? I don't get that. Don't ask victims' name or date of birth. Ask them for an emergency number or name and call a family member for them. And ask, this one.
Yeah. Ask white witnesses to put their bodies in front of the person that's being kidnapped.
White. Talk about racist. Ask white people to stand in front of these guys so they can't get arrested. That's the kind of.
What was it? About 6 months ago, wasn't there a judge that had somebody in the courtroom, and they heard
Yes.
ICE in the room, and she tried
During
to
a
hide
trial.
them.
Put them through the back room. She got convicted for that.
Got convicted, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we're up against, guys. It just gets worse and worse and worse. So, and then on the other side of the things, when you don't have these protesters out there are people shaking these guys' hands. There are people out there, maybe 77 million of them versus 75, that are shaking these guys' hands and thanking them for what they're doing.
Right.
This is a job.
But here, I'm not trying to play left or right here, but do you notice that most of these cities that are doing all this are blue cities?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Minneapolis,
Yep.
Portland, Oregon, L.A. I mean,
Yeah. It's all
Chicago.
It's all the same.
Yeah, it's just.
And they get up there, and the mayor of Minneapolis, get the F out of our.
I know. Yeah.
What?
I know.
Wow. Holy crap. So there's been enough of this going around, enough in the news. We wanted to cover it again with some perspective of another mom and why she would do stuff like this. And you guys saw the video. Watch it again and again. Back up and watch it again. Because that one shot of him getting hit, that slow motion, he got hit, no matter how you look at it. Yeah. And the bullet hole was in the front of the window. So he was in the front of the car, not on the side.
Right.
But make your own conclusions. By the way, there is a GoFundMe page for this guy. They've raised over $450,000 so far. So if you want to look for that, if you're inclined to donate to him, there you go. I guess they're assuming legal fees are coming. All these protests that are happening about ICE agents, none of these protests happened when Lincoln Riley was killed by an illegal migrant.
Right.
When Jocelyn Nogary in Houston, Texas, was killed, there were no protests.
Right.
Rachel Marin, 37 years old, from a Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez, undocumented Salvadorian, killed her. Kayla Hamilton, 20 years old, in Maryland, in July 2022.
Right.
They're quiet.
Quiet.
Nobody even mentioned half these people. They're
Right.
dead, too.
They're dead.
You know how many times I heard this lady's name?
And what's the one that Bill O'Reilly wanted to get the law? He wanted a Megan's law or something like
No,
that.
it was Lincoln Riley.
No,
Lincoln.
there was another one where she was killed in San Francisco. This
Oh.
is years ago, and he wanted to pass this law. He presented it to Congress, and a Republican, what's his name, that just retired, the old guy.
Oh, yeah.
He knocked it down. 'Cause
Yeah.
he hated Bill O'Reilly. But
So all these people,
Gates Law.
Kayla Hamilton,
Gates
20 years
Law, I
old.
think it was.
Oh, yeah.
Gates Law.
Lisbeth Medina, 16 years old in Texas. Maria Gonzalez, 11 years old. Molly Tibbetts, 20. Kate Steinel,
Right.
32 from San Francisco.
That's the
California.
one. That's the one with Bill O'Reilly.
Okay.
He wanted to do that law, pass it, that
2015.
anybody who's illegal in the country, automatically you get 10 years prison sentence, automatically, if you commit a crime.
That was 2015.
Right.
Yep. That's it. Right. Next subject here is this Maduro mess that we're in. Now, before we go any further, Mike, I got a video of Chuck Schumer from 2020. Can you find that for me?
Yeah.
I got it. Hold on.
About all these things he wants to do or is doing, but his actions belie his words. Maybe the best metaphor was his claim to bring democracy to Venezuela. There was a big policy there. It flopped. If the policy was working, Juan Guaido wouldn't be in the balcony here. He'd be in Venezuela. He'd be sitting in the president's palace, or at least waging a fight to win. He's here. And the president brags about his Venezuela policy? Give us a break.
So we get this dictator, king, out of Venezuela. Now, I got to say, I can't help but think there's some underlining stuff there because all the oil,
Well,
get him out.
but didn't we set up the oil refineries years
we
ago?
did help him, and it was going to help redirect
Right.
this money back to the country.
He said it the other day. Venezuela is open for business. Anybody who wants to buy oil, any country wants to buy oil, they could do it from Venezuela. He's not holding back. He's not doing anything like that. Yes, he did take these couple of tankers that they found that were floating in the ocean. I know he grabbed them, but still, China could still buy oil. Russia could still. Well, I don't think Russia buys oil from them. China does. All these other countries, they could still buy oil.
Yep. And yeah, so there are so many people, and not everybody, right? Not every American is, against what happened here. But some say it was a bold stand. He went in. They've been dumping drugs in our country to killing us without a war.
Right.
And he went out and finally did it. So, but and then they got it's unconstitutional, and we need the approval of the Senate and the House and of Congress.
They did it with Noriega down in Panama.
Yeah.
They did it then. They
Yep.
did it with the guy from Libya. What was his name? Gaddafi.
Gaddafi.
Did it with him.
That's right. Yeah. They went right
But
in there.
because Trump does it, it's a horrible thing. It's terrible. He's a Nazi. He's this. He's that.
Well, it's a complete contradiction. People just don't. Sometimes I wonder if they know what they're talking about. You're so against this, but yet you don't want it in our country. You don't want a king and a dictator in our country. So nobody else should have that in their country. Now, do we have the right to go there in every country that's got a dictator and remove him? No.
No.
But this guy,
But this guy is hurting our country.
Right.
He's hurting Venezuelans. Plus, he's hurting our country with the drugs and all that.
yep.
We had those refineries there a long time ago, and then they were taken over by Chavez, and then all of a sudden Maduro. And they even said it when last week had the meeting with all the oil companies,
Oh, yeah.
Chevron,
Yeah.
Exxon, and all that. They even said that the refineries are run like they're terrible. They're not up to date on any of the equipment that they use for extracting the oil,
Which is dangerous if you watch Landman.
Oh yeah, it is.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yep. We were talking about no kings. The slogan emerged from the anti-Trump protests, especially after the Supreme Court's ruling, blah, 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 which interpret granting king-like powers, and we were all against that. But now Venezuela comes in, we do something to help Venezuelans. And I have a clip before I forget, because I'm going back and forth here. I got so much to talk about.
Mike, you got this clip? You know the one we're talking about?
Yeah, it's a woman. She was on TikTok. She's Venezuelan.
Right.
And listen to what she said.
Listen to this.
Are organizing protests, hands off Venezuela, let's defend Maduro, we love dictators. Do not for a moment let your hatred and disdain for Donald Trump have you defending the dictator of my country that was destroyed by him and Chavez and their system 20 years ago. We Venezuelans are very, very happy that our dictator has been arrested, removed, and will be put through a trial.
Now, the scary part is, if you haven't heard, there was an emergency UN meeting. And there are not a lot of people happy about what's going on with this Maduro thing. And they're saying just that. What are we doing? We're authoritarians that we're going in and we're removing people that we shouldn't be removing.
But they had free elections 4 or 5 years ago.
Yes.
And this other person won, this Machado lady or somebody else.
Right.
And he didn't leave.
Just ignored it.
He ignored it and probably killed some people or jailed them or exiled them out of the country. I understand the UN is that's what they got to do, the UN. It's the way it is. But this guy he's a terrorist. He is, should be out.
Get out. But I got another clip. Sorry, Mike. You're busy tonight. I got another clip. This is UN Council clips. There's Chinese, UN. There is, I think it was Dutch. I forget.
Yeah, Denmark.
And then
You got to remember, they own Greenland.
Great. We'll get into that. And then, of course, Russia. And they didn't have kind words to say about what Trump did. And the last thing we want to do is really, we don't want to shake the boat too much because I don't know, what could happen. But watch this clip and look at what the world or the UN is saying about what happened.
As Secretary Rubio stated just yesterday, this is the Western Hemisphere. This is where we live. And we're not going to allow the Western Hemisphere to be used as a base of operation for our nation's adversaries and competitors and rivals of the United States. You can't turn Venezuela into the operating hub for Iran, for Hezbollah, for gangs, for Cuban intelligence agents, and other malign actors that control that country. You cannot continue to have the largest energy reserves in the world under the control of adversaries of the United States, under the control of illegitimate leaders, and not benefiting the people of Venezuela, and stolen by a handful of oligarchs inside of Venezuela. Colleagues, the United States successfully carried out a surgical law enforcement operation facilitated by the U.S. military against 2 indicted fugitives. Nicolás Maduro is responsible for attacks on the people of the United States, for destabilizing the Western Hemisphere, and illegitimately repressing the people of Venezuela.
On January the 3rd, the United States blatantly launched large-scale military strikes against Venezuela, forcefully seized Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro and his wife, and took them out of the country. It claimed that it will run Venezuela and even didn't rule out launching a second round of military operations on an even larger scale. China is deeply shocked by and strongly condemns the unilateral, illegal, and bullying acts of the U.S.
Denmark recalls the foundational principle of international law that forbids states from threatening or using force against another state's territorial integrity and political independence. This imperative is enshrined in Article 2, Paragraph 4 of the UN Charter.
There is
no and can be no justification for the crime cynically perpetrated by the United States in Caracas. We firmly condemn the U.S. act of armed aggression against Venezuela in breach of all international legal norms. In connection with the confirmed reports about the presence of the abducted president of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, and his spouse in the United States, today, as we are aware, they are in New York.
There you go. Not a lot of people are happy. I mean, at least in the UN. Russia and China demanded Maduro's immediate release, calling it lawlessness, bullying, and a test of whether charter principles apply equally. So allies like France, Denmark, Brazil, Mexico, Colombia, Cuba, and others criticized it as a violation of sovereignty, aggression, or interference reminiscent of the past U.S. actions in the region. Now, I don't know. If I try to think about it, which this is not an extreme.
Well, tell me this. What are you worried about? They need us. We don't need them.
I know.
They need us.
But what would we do if somebody claimed, like 75 million Americans claim that Trump is a dictator and he's a king?
Yeah.
What would we do if Russia came in and took our president?
They would never do that. We're too powerful.
Well, I know.
We have too much defense that we can stop. I mean, you were the one that said it today at dinner, how we kind of went in for Maduro, and we had the sonic
wave.
Sonic wave.
Made everybody throw up and their nose bleed.
That's pretty high-tech shit.
Yeah, I know.
Do you know that supposedly Iran had that when we went over to bomb the nuclear sites? It was from China. Didn't work. It wasn't a sonic thing. It was something else that they developed.
Okay, yeah.
Didn't work.
Wow.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm not worried about it.
I don't know if I'm worried about it, but what gives us the right to bully everybody? Well, and I said this at dinner
because we've labeled ourselves as like the police of the world in a way, and a lot of people look up.
So
to
is
a lot
Russia.
Of people, look what they're saying in Iran. They're naming streets after Trump.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're right.
And they're yelling, "Please, Mr. Trump, help us! Please help us! Get this guy out of here!"
But what I said earlier today, if they came over here, Iran came over here and tried to stop our protests. I mean, I know they won't do that because we're a military power and all that fun stuff. But I don't know. I just think he needs to stick his nose in the economy and keep working that. And
he is. Gas prices are going down.
Yeah, gas. That's all we talk about.
Well, it's gonna hopefully
I got
trickle.
A steak the other day. It was $58.
Was it good?
No. No, it was all right. It was a little thing.
A little tiny thing.
I don't know what the cut was called. It was called mini cut or something.
Mini cut.
But eggs are down.
Eggs are down. See, and you love eggs in the morning. Every morning.
It's true.
Gavone, you love
my share of eggs.
The bagel, the egg, the lox, the this, the that.
Yeah. So watch the UN thing, and you saw it here, and just make your own conclusions. But I just hope it doesn't escalate into something that we can't handle. Sorry, that's kind of what I'm thinking. We can handle anything. By the way, you mentioned the sonic wave. I wanted to tell you about it. A guy was on Patrick David. Sorry.
PBD.
Oh, yeah, PBD. That's it.
Not peanut butter and jelly.
PB&J.
PB&J.
You guys do a great job.
They do. I love watching him.
They're very, very
Probably
good.
my best podcast that I watch.
We decided to go professional because of you guys.
Yeah, that's right. Look, see that?
Yeah.
Do I look like Vinny?
Yeah.
Adam? Tom?
So there was a military guy who survived this attack. He said the first thing all they saw was out of nowhere, all these drones came. They disappeared. Helicopters came. They get off the helicopter. Took them down. And then the sonic wave knocked out the rest of them. And what happens is you get like a real bad headache. Your nose could bleed. You throw up. It's not good.
How come CBS and ABC and NBC and CNN and that NS Now or whatever the hell it's called, how come they didn't report that anybody was killed over there?
I don't know.
I didn't hear anything that Venezuelans were killed or their army or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was Cuban and Venezuela together, different armies. And
well, I know Cuba's with them. That's maybe it's.
So like 56 something total. We didn't lose.
Who's going to be next? Him and,
We-
and the Columbia guy.
We didn't even have to use a Band-Aid and Bactine. Nobody was hurt.
Nobody was hurt. Yeah.
He's here to.
But you got to remember. Let's go back to this. You have to remember the Monroe Doctrine. Now it's called the Doctrine. We are basically the police from Canada down to Argentina. It's our hemisphere, and we basically control it. I know it sounds like we sound like we're dictators and things like that, but we're not. We let them do what they want to do as far as. But when they start hurting people and killing people, and then they start exporting drugs to everybody, we're gonna not take it lightly.
Yeah, agreed. I agree. And was it? I forget who it was that I watched. He was talking about. This is our region.
Yeah, that's
protecting our
Western
region.
Hemisphere.
Yeah, Western
correct.
Hemisphere. Yeah.
Right.
So let's see what happens with that. There's so much going on, and let's keep our fingers crossed that things don't, escalate too crazy. But so time will tell, and then I'm sure there's going to be a whole investigation with the shooting, and there's going to be all kinds of different things going on. So and we'll follow the UN. A lot of it's covered on YouTube now on the C-SPAN channel or something on YouTube.
Yeah.
So you can listen.
The other guy I've been listening to, his name is Matt Decker, I think his last name is.
Mm-hmm.
Decker, definitely. He goes around with the president. He's part of the press corps, and he's pretty good. He's got his own podcast, and I listen to him a lot.
Yeah, that's good.
He's very good.
Lastly here, this is our new segment, Yesterday's Headlines. And we just say that because it's really not in the news right now. Issued a sweeping executive order pulling the U.S. out of numerous UN agencies, treaties, and multilateral groups. Critics describe it. Of course, there's always critics. So this withdrawal, critics describe it as an assault on global institutions for human rights, peace, and climate efforts. This has drawn condemnation from allies that could reshape international cooperation, yet it's not dominating any headlines at this point amid other foreign policy issues that are going on, like all this other stuff. So I'm kind of mixed on this too. I don't know if he's pulling a plug on that, thinking that there may be fraud involved like there is here. I don't know. But it's also how much, the way he looks at it, right? It's always numbers. So he's probably looking at, well, what are we giving versus everybody else?
Right.
In the UN, what are we doing differently, or how much more are we giving? But for him to do, just gone, there's got to be a reason. I haven't figured that out yet.
That's the kind of the neat thing about Donald Trump is you don't know. He's 2 or 3 steps ahead of everybody.
And they don't tell you when you see this news stuff like this, right? They don't say why. They just said he did it. And that there's a lot of critics that he do it.
That's why you and we dig deeper and try to get the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you telling me I didn't dig deep enough on this
Well,
one?
no, I'm just saying.
I didn't.
You don't want to say something that's wrong, but
yeah.
Did you see the conservative conservative justices back transgender sports ban and female athletes in men's sports or female?
Yeah,
sports?
they want men in female sports again.
Yeah, but
they
sent it to the Supreme Court.
Oh, okay.
And I think the Supreme Court knocked it down 6-3.
Oh, so there's not going to be any men in
supposedly not.
Okay.
And 11 House Democrats, Buck Party, decide with the Republicans to reverse Joe Biden's era of shower regulation. You know, the shower knobs.
Oh, yes.
Remember that?
Yeah. Wait. That's funny. Wasn't there a Seinfeld episode about that?
Yeah, somebody.
The shower heads weren't good enough.
They weren't good.
Oh, their hair was all soap.
Yeah.
And then he got the big shower head and he's falling in the shower. Yeah, that's right. To conserve water, right? Was it conservation?
Yeah, it was a big conservation thing.
Oh, good. Help us. So
NASA moon mission sent to blast off with the first woman astronaut beyond Earth's orbit.
Yes. So here's
when's that happening?
Kind of February 10th, I think, is the first window of opportunity to launch this thing.
The Artemis 2 mission.
So this is Artemis 2. By the way, my dog, my puppy, not puppy anymore, is named Artemis.
Artie.
And Artie, A-R-T-E, though, not an A-T-I, because he's named after the rocket. This is the first time we're going to be orbiting the moon with human beings for 50 years, since 50 years ago.
Right. It's going up February 6th.
So all those people that said we didn't go to the moon because of this radiation belt, they don't know what they're talking about.
Oh, I didn't hear about that. Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
that's one of the biggest things they said, that the astronauts would have died. Now, what NASA does is the way they shoot the rocket, they go through the weakest part of this radiation belt, and they go through it as quickly as possible. It surrounds the Earth. It's a natural thing.
Right.
And there's, of course, around the ship, there's some protection, things like this. But what they're going to do, I found this really interesting. Artemis has 2 solid rockets like this shuttle, and then 4 main engines in the center. And they go up in about, 72 seconds or more or later, these solids fall off, and the boost keeps going. Then they separate, and then they have another service module that keeps it going. And then they have what they call escape velocity. They get this thing, and this is so cool. I thought this, I was watching the other day. I know a lot of this crap too, by the way. They're going on a high elliptical orbit, okay? So like this is the Earth, right? Their orbit is going out, I don't know how many thousands of miles, and then they come back in within 500 miles. And what that does,
slingshot like.
it's a slingshot.
Right.
So they're going to slingshot to the moon, and they're going to go out around the moon, and they're going to loop back. What I found out, what I thought was really interesting, once they slingshot towards the moon and they're in the right trajectory and the right speed, they don't have to do any thrusting or anything. If everything failed, the slingshot around the moon would send them right back to Earth.
Oh, cool.
It's so neat.
Oh, yeah.
So they're not going to land on the moon.
Right.
That's coming later. Hopefully not when I'm dead. But this is pretty cool. 4 astronauts.
Yeah.
And boy, let me tell you, I saw the bios on these people. Man, are they brilliant.
Wow.
Brilliant people.
That's the first woman to be in deep space.
Yes.
That's pretty neat.
Yep. That's way out there. So I think it's 6 days to the moon, 6 days back, roughly. Or it might be maybe it's 6 or 8 days total. It might be total because they're going to go out and slingshot and come right back. But it's a test mission.
Sure.
See how the ship works and all that fun stuff. And I love that crap.
Oh, yeah.
In the meantime, Elon Musk has shot up another 50,000 Starlink
So what is
satellites.
this that they're talking about Elon Musk helping out Iran because they cut off the whole internet
They
from
cut
all the
off
people?
internet. So Starlink is up in space.
Right.
You don't have a cable to worry about. You can't turn it off. If you have the receiver and the antenna, you can get internet. He did that when a lot of the places got hit with hurricanes
Yeah.
and the
That's pretty
fires.
neat.
Yeah. Well, I said, if I ever get rich, right, I want a house in the middle of 10 acres, geothermal heat pump, which pulls heat and air conditioning from the ground. They dig real down,
Really?
Yeah, it's called geothermal. So because below the frost line, it's always 50-something degrees, always. So you can pull warm air out of that or cooler air for air conditioning easier than the air. So the air is like 2 degrees. You don't get much heat.
You could do this?
Yeah. Yeah, it's geothermal heat pump. It's what it's called. It's a heat pump, but it's geothermal.
Last week you're selling alarms. Now you're,
I know.
what's his name? Carl Sagan?
Carl Sagan, yeah. I'd have that. I'd have solar panels on my lawn connected to a whole bunch of batteries that could support the house for like a month if power goes out.
Wow. And
And then Starlink. Have my internet with Starlink. Off the grid, baby.
so anybody can get Starlink?
Yeah, you can buy the kit. They run from $299 to $499 depending on the speed and what you want. There's a flat board antenna about yo big.
You mean $300?
$300 up front, and then you pay a monthly fee, of course, for it. And it goes to a router just like your does now, except cable goes to a router just like this will go to a router, and you'll have wireless internet or whatever.
Wow.
And so you can. The idea is that there's so many satellites out there. Right now, there's, I think the number's 1,470 roughly. If you look that up while I'm talking, how many Starlink satellites are out there? I think it's almost 1,500 now or more.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard about 15.
Because it's
So that's what we were looking last year.
Yes,
Joe and I were at
yes.
at this church that him and his wife go
it's
to,
a UFO.
and it was like 1 in the morning, 12 in the morning, 12 at night,
Yeah.
and we wanted to photograph the
Comet.
comet.
Yeah.
Well, I have this big hunkin' lens, 500 millimeter lens, and I got it set up on a tripod and everything. And I'm looking through it, hoping to see the comment, and this thing comes right into the view.
Six of them, right?
6 of them
in a row,
right in the view. And I started flipping out. Joe, it's an alien. It's an alien. And then you look with your lens. Oh my God, we're being attacked. And then we realize, oh, it's Starlink.
Starlink.
I called my daughter. There was something in the sky. You go, Dad, it was Starlink. I saw it when I was stationed in Guam.
Yeah, a lot. I'm sure she saw it a lot
did.
because it's dark.
She did. Yeah.
Ba-dun-dun-dun-dun. But it's the weirdest thing to see 6 stars like in a row, and they just move across the sky. It's like, oh my God, it's awesome. Anyway, because a lot of times I watch the space station fly over. You know, and
right?
One goes
yeah.
by.
Yeah, my neighbor Peggy,
6 in a row.
she'll tell me, Bill, the space station is flying over if you want to come out and look at it.
Yeah. Oh, and lastly, I'm going to mention one thing. Clintons refuse a subpoena.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I heard of that. He was supposed to show up today. Him and his wife. Did the wife show up at Clinton?
Neither one of them.
Martha. What's her name? Martha? No, what's her
Hillary.
name? Hillary, that's it.
Martha.
Martha?
Martha Washington.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she's dead.
George Washington. She's gone a long time. By the way, you know George Washington Bridge?
Yeah.
You know what they call the lower deck?
What?
Martha. They do. Swear to God.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
I've never seen that. I go to the bridge all the time. I never seen that.
Look it up. Nickname for the lower part of the George Washington Bridge.
All right, I'm going to do that right now.
What's a nickname for the lower portion of GW Bridge?
What?
By the time he types, we'll be into tomorrow. We're an hour into the show. By the way, while he's typing, because it'll be a while, I want to thank everybody again. Please like and subscribe. I know this was a long one. I really appreciate you sticking with us. We're getting thousands and thousands views on every video. So keep
George Washington Bridge. Lower level of the George Washington Bridge is Martha.
See?
Why would they name it that? Named after
Because
George
the
Washington?
husband is George Washington and Martha's under
Isn't that kind of like chauvinistic?
No, he loves her. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Interesting thought, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, like and subscribe. I really appreciate you guys. I hope you hung out for the whole thing because it's so important to the channel and for the information that you guys are
Did
collecting.
we go over everything here?
Yeah, we're done.
We're done? We are? We're done?
We're done.
Okay.
Mike, thanks. Michael, thank you so much.
Yeah,
for
Mike, you did a
helping
good job for your first time.
us. Yeah, really. All right. I'm Joe.
I'm Bill.
All right. Good night, guys.